Hey guys, welcome to Juicy Tea, where I read out the best stories on Reddit, so you don't have to. The funny, shocking, and satisfyingly juicy. Today's Relationship Drama Friday, where we can just sit back and enjoy the tea. Unless you posted to Reddit recently. I cleaned the toilet with my husband's toothbrush. Our first story comes from the Petty Revenge subreddit, posted by sred81. I'm not sure if this is petty revenge, but it was petty and it feels like revenge. Edit. This happened years ago, and if the same scenario ever happened again, I wouldn't allow it to continue the way it did. I was frustrated and upset, and at the time, I felt like his own actions caused this. So, my husband can be, and often is, a dick. He often makes assumptions about my actions, usually negative assumptions. So the bathroom was pretty gross, and I decided I was going to give it a spring clean, and I mean toothbrush cleaning the cracks and crevices. Usually I have a few old cleaning toothbrushes, but they were missing. No biggie, I thought. I'll just use my husband's old flattened gross looking toothbrush. I'd already bought him a brand new one a few days prior, so I thought it was time to downgrade his old toothbrush. So that's what I did. I used that toothbrush in all sorts of gross spaces. I just happened to be rinsing his toothbrush out after having cleaned the toilet when he came into the room. He got really angry and asked me why I had his toothbrush in my hand. I was like, well, I bought you a new. He interrupted me and yelled, "Put it back!" I tried to continue explaining, but he said, "That's my toothbrush." Me, well, yes I know, but him, "Put it back!" Me, I mean, I would put it back, but him, "That's my toothbrush, don't touch my toothbrush." Me, well yeah, but him, "Put it back." At this point, I was flustered and upset and angry. Like, why couldn't he just let me explain that I'd already bought him a new toothbrush? I'd already used this one on the floor, the bathtub, the sink, and the toilet. But every time I tried to tell him this, he would interrupt. Frankly, I told him on multiple occasions to please just at least let me tell him what I'm doing, and to please stop interrupting me, and never letting me get a word in. I could have yelled and interrupted him, like he kept doing to me. But, instead, I gave him what he wanted. I was like, okay, fine, and I put his toothbrush back and walked out. F him, he got what he asked for. Plus, I don't understand why he acted that way. If the roles were reversed and I walked in on him rinsing my toothbrush, I would have asked, "What are you doing with my toothbrush?" And then I would have listened to his answer. And when he said, "Oh, I got you a new toothbrush and I've used this old one to clean," I would have said, "Oh, okay, thanks for getting me a new toothbrush." And that would have been the end of it. But no, he just can't seem to treat me kindly. So yeah, I could have persisted and told him. But his seemingly irrational anger made me feel like, F you, enjoy your toilet toothbrush. Down in the comments, OP gives some extra context. I've asked my husband to go with me to therapy many times. He's always adamant about not going because I refuse to be told that I'm the problem. At least he's self-aware. If your husband's a dick, like you said, why are you wasting your life with him? You only get one life. I'm leaving my husband without telling him why. Our next post comes from the BestofRedditorUpdates subreddit, posted by Deleted. I found out that my husband was planning to have an affair with a woman from his company that works for another branch. They both visit each other's branches twice a year. They've been flirting for 6 months and were going to sleep together last Friday when she was here. I sent my husband a picture of me in new lingerie about an hour before her plane landed. He was supposed to pick her up. He had already told me that he was working late and then going out with his colleagues for drinks and not to wait for him. I wrote that this, was his dessert after the lobster pasta I was making. He loves lobster pasta. He was home within the hour. When we were together, he said he was glad he chose to come home. Instead of working, you mean? I should hope so. Yeah, I mean, of course, he said. I don't have the energy to confront him or tell him that I know. I don't want to hear excuses and apologies. The lease is in his name because I moved into his apartment when we got married and we still haven't found our home that we've been saving for. so at least I don't have to worry about that. Our savings and joint accounts are easy to access and divide, and I can do that the day before I leave. I found a subcontract today on an apartment for 12 months. If I get picked, I can move in on October 1st. Then, I will serve him with the divorce papers and tell him the reason I'm leaving is that I'm bored with our relationship and I've fallen out of love. I think it's better that way. Down in the comments, OP explained how she found out that he was planning to cheat on her. It started with a lot of pop-up ads about hotels on our iPad, combined with him being busy and texting more than usual. I became suspicious, so I went through his phone. They've been talking all summer about meeting for sex. She lives a 3-hour plane ride away, so now I know why he was searching for hotels in our and her city. Update. I just signed a new sublease and I'm leaving my husband at the end of the month. I'm so happy I found my new apartment. I feel like I've been bored again. I felt nothing but pain and despair for weeks. Now I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm still resolute to just leave and not tell him the reason why. I think it's the only way I can cope with the pain without losing my mind or my dignity. Many have asked, how would that make me look? Honestly, I don't care. Those who love me unconditionally. And those who judge me, is their opinion really worth it? Update 2. I was fortunate to get the keys on Thursday, and I've been discreetly packing my clothes. Yesterday, Friday, the moving truck came and took all of my stuff to my new place. I changed my address to my parents' address because I don't want my husband to know my new address if he googled it. When I was in my new apartment, it looked gloomy and so tiny. I just broke down crying. I postponed my tears and now I could finally feel safe to be vulnerable. During dinner, my husband started bombarding my phone because I'd left him a note saying that I was done with our marriage and had filed for divorce. My plan was to never speak to him again, but today, after a million messages and missed calls, I folded and answered him. He was very confused and in a total panic. I just kept saying that I wasn't in love with him anymore and that I was bored in our marriage. He was confused and begged me to come home and explain. Then he started trying to find other solutions. Maybe I was bored with my job or our apartment. Maybe we could move and start anew somewhere else. I couldn't hold my tongue and just said, yeah, maybe we could move to the city where the other woman lives. That would be very convenient for you. He was silent for a second, then asked what I meant. You know, because the main office is there and you'd have a better chance to advance your career. Silence again. He then said, listen, I don't care about my career now. I care about you. I love you and I can't lose you. He would do anything to make me happy. I said the only thing was that he left me alone and understood that it was over, because the sooner he realized it was over, the better. Then I hung up. I think I need a new phone number because I don't trust myself not to answer him again. I was so disappointed in myself for talking to him when I'd already decided not to. My parents-in-law have called, wanting an explanation. I just said I wasn't in love anymore and wanted an out. They're both confused. I don't want them to know the real reason. I'd rather have them confused than feel sorry for me. Or worse, try to explain his behavior and ask me to forgive him. It's better this way. I don't think there's any need for lawyers. We don't own anything together, and we don't have children. I've already taken my half of the savings, and I was never on the lease for his apartment. I've already sent the divorce papers to court, and with or without his signature, I'll be divorced. In 6 months if he signs 2, or 1 to 2 years if he refuses, and I submit a new application every 6 months. Am I the a-hole for telling my girlfriend to change her page? And our last post comes from the Am I the a-hole subreddit, posted by NoPhilosopher6192. Okay, so this might sound stupid, but I just need to hear that I'm not the crazy one. My girlfriend, 22 female, does cosplay content online, so she has a Linktree. I want to say here that I have no problem with her content. She doesn't do nudes, she's not on OnlyFans, and it helps pay for the bills. It's also important to note that my girlfriend is originally from India, and English is her second language. Alright, context out of the way, here is my issue. My girlfriend likes to have fun with her links on Linktree. The Patreon link might say something like, Wanna buy me something? Or help support me? Recently, she made a button that she's rather proud of that leads to her Twitter. The button says, "Wanna see my ex?" No joking, that's what it says. She thinks it's a clever play on words because Twitter has changed to X. I told her to change it because it sounds explicitly pornographic. We got into a fight over it. She thinks I'm controlling her, limiting her expression and so forth. I'm not trying to be a jerk here, but she does online content. This is gonna bring the worst creeps from the deepest sewers of the internet to her page and into our lives. The problem is, she's got friends for whom English is also a second and third language, backing her up, and they're making me out as a crazy control freak. Am I the a-hole? Wanna see my ex is a clever play on words. What's he talking about? She obviously knows what the ex is implying. He keeps acting like her and her friends being bilingual means they just don't understand the implication. She's not an idiot, mate. She probably already has creeps sliding into her DMs all the time and knows how to deal with it. Remember, I post new content every day, so subscribe for more juicy tea.